Oh, so this is going to be for the 10th year anniversary, but again, for people who played in the closed beta or whatever, it wouldn't even make a whole lot of sense because, I mean, obviously I get it. The official release would have been 2014, but, although I forget exactly what month, but it was the end of 2023, and right around when GTA 5 came out, because that's just how I remember it, that I had to choose between which one I wanted to play, and then I ended up putting off GTA 5 until it came out on PC, so maybe that was part of the reason, but it's pretty amazing that a game could, you know, make you want to put that on the back burner. That shows you how good this actually was, or how much I liked it. And so last month I did temporarily unavailable. What? Oh, it made it seem like everything was just gonna be bugged out like that. But yeah, it's like maybe my one account that would be back that old should get like some special benefit from having been around for that long. I think everybody was always so impressed that I had the Mr. Pandaria card back, but I was like, what the fuck is that? It's just some random thing, but it just shows that you were there, I guess, at the beginning. But no, last month I basically did the little gimmick anti-spell Druid deck, but I didn't truly do it. So now here I'm going to extend it and get another chance to do it in its true form with Lothab and all the other things, because I just did that in the twist mode only. And the reason why was because that obviously limited you to only deck with no legendaries, and it still did pretty badly. But now we'll get the Nerubian, we'll get Lothab, we'll get all kinds of other stuff that feels kind of essential for it. The problem is we almost don't even have enough dust for some of it, maybe. 10 years in the tavern, partake in gifts and celebration, complete, earn experience, okay. And the next expansion is obviously going to be Whizbang. That would almost be a good form of React content. For somehow lately I've had an urge to do some form of it, one or another, so I should almost react to the trailer of the Whizbang expansion, but it's not like I really give a shit about it anyway. So we did... Well, first of all, what is the twist mode? It almost makes it seem like it's still playable, even though it shouldn't be. Replay 10 years of Hearthstone. Starting with Legacy, we'll add one new set every day. Every day. See, this is almost what they should do, but every month they should add a new set. This is exactly the mode that I was asking for. We'll add one new set every day, all the way through Showdown in the Badlands. How would they even know? How would it fit so right, though? How could it fit so perfectly? They'll add one new set every day, so have there been exactly 30 sets in the history of the game? That makes no sense, how they could do it so precisely in the course of a month. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, I don't even know. That seems so weird. The point is that somehow, that is exactly what I've always said that they should do in the twist mode itself, or a similar format, like they I mean, even long before there was a format like that, they should have a rotating format that's like how they had classical, right? But instead of classic, they should have had like where it starts in classic, but then it rotates. So every month or every couple months, even every expansion, they move ahead. So now, oh, it'll be goblins versus gnomes, and then they'll keep going. Or even a better way of doing it could potentially be that. Now, see, I'm going to be tempted to do this instead, though. Fuck. A better way to do it even would be to restrict you only to that one expansion. So like the first set would be, okay, you get to play classic. Now we move on to goblins versus gnomes or something, but you can only use the cards within goblins versus gnomes. You can't even use the ones from before, and obviously not the ones from after. So now I'm a little bit confused actually what I want to do, because I wanted to do it in wild, but normally they take a break in between the twist formats. Now they're not. I mean, I'll at least try this a couple times here. Like, let's see if we could still play into the theme of this. What is the closest to an evasive thing that I could make with this? Probably not anything. Right, there won't be anything that actually works. Can't be it'll be more fun kind of as you go further along the way. Right, so there'll be a few more expansions put in there, but it kind of rubs in my face that it's exactly not the thing that it's doing it too fast, right? That's exactly what I would want. This guy's in there just for the fuck of it. I don't even remember when they put that card in there. I just noticed it last time. Probably it was around then, because it's in celebration of this whole fucking anniversary thing anyway. But yeah, this has mostly everything you want in there except only one copy of each. And yeah, you would almost need fucking Renathal to make this work, because there's just almost too many of them here, which is a good problem to have. But the one thing that's missing, okay, we need Keleseth because that works pretty well with Embiggen. We want the Trog, and Jungle Giants was just some sort of extra shit that we were throwing out there. The Malfurion, the Scarab, like there's a lot of stuff I would still want to make. This is what I don't like, is that I'm so gold starved, despite the fact that like we could just buy a couple packs here and try to figure it out. See if we get a little bit of dust back. But no, this is a little bit tricky because a lot of these things are pretty essential for what I'm trying to do. Alright, fuck this. We're going back to wild. Yes, I won't worry about this format just yet, but I will say... Wasn't that like a flower? Arthas's gift in fucking WoW? Not that I'm much of a herbalist, but... Fuck. I need everything to be craftable right now, dude. But yeah, this is my bad tendency. That I always... roll the 1. Not gonna be playing as that shit anyway. Actually, that should give me a little bit of leeway. But no, I mean, some of these are gonna be legendaries. I think Keleseth is just gonna be left out. The Trog is also legendary. Jungle Giants I kind of just want to fuck around with, but I'm not gonna worry about it yet. Malfurion's a legendary. Like, how am I supposed to even fucking do this? The Scarab thing is not going to be... That kind of works with the AoE buffs too. That's kind of why I like it. You do like the Spreading Plague and then you do that. Okay, I can't do that. There's going to be some kind of hybrid card that I accidentally... Fuck. That I accidentally delete that's going to mess up my Druid collection too, but oh well. They always make the colors so similar. Like it'll be green and dark green for Hunter and Demon Hunter, so how am I supposed to know which is which? So... Okay, obviously the gift mechanic is going to be cute here, but that's arguably not even to do with the whiz-bang mechanic or expansion. It's more so just to do with the anniversary thing, I guess. So that's a little bit confusing. Guard throw, don't even care what that is. I mean, this was part of my underplayed class round robin where I was trying to play rogues because I never really played them ever, but obviously they just sort of vanished from that whole contention. I almost thought I had played as them, but then I never did. I just played as Priest, which was my other... Those are basically my 2 least played classes, Priest and Rogue. This is okay. But yeah, the way that I go back and forth and disenchant stuff only to, you know, remake it later on is such a fucking stupid thing. That ends up making it kind of miserable as far as the dust. It's not like I spend money to try to buy packs and shit. But that's what's funny about the early Hearthstone is you would have had to do that either to be competitive, like if you wanted to be, oh, I want to be an esports Hearthstone player, you would have to spend money because you're going to spend most of your time trying to ladder and learn the thing, and you don't have time to really free to play grind shit out, no matter how much you play. And then the other side of it is the simple fact that basically, what is Call of Thunder? I guess I did this because I felt like I wanted to play Shaman next, but I don't know if any of this would even matter. But maybe I should keep it, I don't know. I can't really afford to. Here, let's just do Spreading Plague, and maybe that would be fine. Yeah, this is actually sad. I'll never be able to afford this shit. Because everything I want is a legendary. But that was always kind of a fun interaction. People would question, why do I have Embiggen in there when I have a couple, you know, so many 2-cost cards, and this is a really long time back. But it doesn't matter because everything that's 2 is going to turn into a 3 because of that. Or rather, it's not, but I mean, I guess you only have 2 things in there ultimately. Maybe I had something else, but yeah, the Fairy Dragon would become a 3-cost, so only Power of the Wild would kind of get in your way. In fact, making 2 of those was even pointless. So what could I get rid of then? See, some of these I have in there just to like show off, like, oh look, at least we have 1 of each thing, but now I can't decide. We're gonna put in fucking Renathal just to fit that one in there. I mean, we could get rid of this stupid clown guy. We could try him some other time. He was just there as a filler card. So we're missing Keleseth, we're missing the Trog. We have Lotheb. Missing Keleseth, Trog, and Malfurion. So that is still quite a bit. that we would have to go through. Assume we don't want to disenchant these. There's really not enough though. Fuck, like I don't have the patience to really try to save up dust. Whatever, we'll go with this. This is what we were kind of craving to do last month, but I just felt the need to do it in twist. I'm not going to worry about the twist mode now. We could do it one of these episodes this month though. So we're going to extend the Druid thing just because I didn't feel like I did justice to it. Where it was still the same elusive evasive concept, and it was arguably even better in that format, even as terrible as it was, just because everyone else was restricted too, and a lot of these good evasive ones were still playable there, like the evasive Draconid and stuff. We're missing Sogoth, like we're missing so many things. Even if you don't think they're good, I mean the whole deck isn't good obviously, but
a just cause is always worth fighting for.
My dreaming ends. Your nightmare begins.
so even Lorthamar is good because this is the whole iconic nature of it. It'll trivialize all the AoE buffs, the fact that you can just do it like that, which is kind of an example of power creep in this sense that ridicules the whole point of the deck. Like, you would go through so much trouble otherwise to get like +1/+1 or +2/+2. Now you can just fucking, like, compare it to Embiggen. Sure, Embiggen costs 0, but like you're only getting +2/+2, and you're only, you know, and you're increasing the cost too. Whereas here you're just doubling it for nothing, because effectively you're getting 7 mana 7/7. So even if you got a 0 mana 0/0, but you still do the effect, it's like, it's way too strong. This doesn't even do anything. Love the laser beam animation. We've been really enjoying Cthulhu, although I don't like his voice, like I've said. Let's see what this priest with the basic card back has in store for us here. And he's getting cucked by the book over there. Does it always look like that? It feels like there's not enough room for the card to come out. The angle of that just looks weird. Maybe I've never noticed that. Yeah, see, like this was playable actually in the twist format, so stuff like that is not bad. That might be, oh wow, it's actually something that people are actually using, and it's actually meta because, you know, those cards might actually be decent in a format like that. Whereas here it'll just be totally outclassed. This is the problem. You get kind of mana screwed a little bit, although not really. Like, you still do have a decent curve, and you only have one copy of each thing, so there's a good variety. Even if that comes at the expense of potentially putting, obviously, multiple copies of the better cards. Like, some of those buff cards are just so expensive and not efficient at all. And Lorthamar just puts them all to shame, obviously. He's got the actual correct, the correct synergy off. I mean, at least we still get to see the purpose of the deck, but I mean, kind of in the wrong way. And it's not like I would have spells myself anyway to deal with them, because we just don't use spells. In fact, I don't know if I have any spells in this that are not a buff. They might all just be that. Or at least they have the option, like the little Panther fucking 2-cost thing. The point is that, you know, it's like we're paying the price. We are trying to be anti-magic. Like in nature, only strength matters. Not in nature, there is no magic. Only strength prevails. So the point is that we sacrifice our own ability to use magic offensively, like to destroy their stuff, just so that I can, you know, prevent them from using magic too. Which of course is one of my favorite mechanics, but it was very much neglected, of course, in the early days of Hearthstone. And it almost seems to fit with the old gods a little bit. Right, like the fact that I happen to be Cthulhu, we're sort of negating this feeble mortal's magic. And of course, Sogoth had that effect because even the Titans, like, he kept them out of arm's reach, so somehow they had to sacrifice themselves to finally reach him and stab the sword into him or whatever. There was some whole dramatic story to do with that. Holy shit. At least here we would see some very good interactions, which could potentially be very hard for them to deal with. it would make even a card like Sogoth or something good value. But this can't make it more than 10, so then you have nothing to lose there, like with Tyrantus or somebody. Oh my god.
I see, but I do not believe.
Look, dude.
Good day to you.
Magic detected.
I mean, I should have obviously done the Draconid, but it doesn't matter what I do. So, I mean, look, dude. At least there we get to see how good our deck is. The only way to beat my epic fucking gimmick deck here is to actually use it against itself. So we still got to see it. I'm satisfied with the outcome. Like, does that really prove that, oh, haha, my deck is bad? The fact that I effectively lost to itself. And he got exactly the kind of interactions I'd be trying to go for myself. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. Year 1. So it is like the very beginning of that rotation, obviously. That is so weird that they would do that. Like, what are they going to do? Sell like a different pack for $4.99 every day? Like, oh, this will be for today's expansion that they're doing in the twist mode. It's like that's how farcical it felt even for the twist mode overall. Like, it's only out for a month, yet they're selling these packs like, oh, you're gonna buy this to be competitive in the twist mode. It feels like it almost doesn't even matter because it's such a short window of time that you have to mess with it that you wouldn't even care. Gain 4 attack, gain 5 armor, fine. At least they're not going to be copying my shit. Now here you have to make a decision. Don't use Embiggen. And the reason why is because you want to get stuff you can play first. So it's almost a little bit too early. But then it's not really that useful later either. And this one I almost shouldn't be allowed to summon as a static play. I should almost have to play it only for the buff. You know, fuck it. We'll just go against my own advice that I said and just not even do it. So our Garrus card bank, Cthulhu Hero, like we're pulling out the big guns here. As far as the cosmetics, major god tier lower character villains. Literally gonna get me from 100 to 0 just from that shit, dude. Let's just do that again. This one's not actually evasive, but if he's tempted to use a spell, the problem is whatever spell he used would probably just remove this, so the effect wouldn't matter then. And he's not going to have anything else to use it on anyway, because now this always costs 4. It seemed very inefficient, but these are sometimes the plays you have to make because you just have extra mana sitting around. Yeah, for a 10 cost, it's always a net positive because it doesn't actually cost anything extra to play him big in. He's not really putting a whole lot of pressure, but he's just spamming this shit. Guff the Tough. Give your hero plus 8 attack this turn, gain 8 armor. I think it's good, but it's not that crazy. Yeah, he's just gonna finish me off with this fucking melee base hit. You know, just out of a sense of honor, I shouldn't be able to do that because even though you have that option, I'm even saying I'm choosing to sacrifice my magical capabilities and only use it in a buffing sense. So that's all that card is. 2 mana, +1/+1 to everything. 4 mana, 7/7. This is actually pretty good. Or I mean, at least it goes with the theme of what we're trying to do here. At least that first one was satisfying to see that we get to lose basically to our own interaction. If we could just last a little bit longer in one of these matches, we'd be fine, but when we're losing on the board with a deck that's all about the board, with all these, again, it prevents removal from being effective, but it doesn't guarantee that you're actually, that they're really well statted or anything. I could heal here or summon a taunt. Yeah, it doesn't really do me any good. Yeah, at least he doesn't wait too much time. Could be a bot even for all I know. I never get a consensus on what a bot actually looks like, because some people said, oh, it's because they use the gear card back, but then, you know, with the little mechanical gear on there, but there's so many instances where that could just be a real player doing it. It doesn't mean it's a bot just because of that. Okay, I can accept those outcomes, but just let me have an actual match that lasts out. What a perfect matchup this would be against a mage, where we get to counter all their potential removal, but in before they just use AoE that completely cucks me that way anyway. Give your minions +2/+4 and taunt. Like, that's just not really worth it though for this. Some of these things are so inefficient. Damn it, I'm gonna keep being tempted to do the 2-cost thing, and it is my only other 2-cost card in like the whole deck. But I still don't want to use. Well, I might have no choice. But I'll break my rule of doing that. Fuck it. Because you just gotta go with what you got. So even though it's there for the buff, and this move makes no sense and has no synergy with the deck. See, the whole point of a lot of these gimmick decks that I have is always that you take one idea and you just expand upon it. And you like hard commit to it. Fuck. What's the downside though? It's not like I'm gonna have a chance to play it twice anyway. But yeah, so like you want the elusive, evasive, anti-spell stuff, and you just want to hard commit to it. So everything in your deck is gonna be that, or something else that punishes them for playing spells, or something else that just buffs them in a way that otherwise wouldn't be possible. So that's why the AoE buffs are so important. I mean, this is at least a decent start, but again, it's super slow to where they obviously could have done something about it if they really wanted to. Okay, let's see here. Not really too big of a deal. Or yeah, Time Warp was one of those things that triggered me so much when I was doing that Wild to Legend run for the first time. Just, it felt virtually unbeatable at times. You would have to get like a lucky dirty rat play, and they could, it's not that you lose, it's that you don't lose in some sort of minute sense. You would have lost a million times over, where they could have just kept doing it over and over and over. It's like, it's one thing to have an OTK, but it's another thing to have an infinite OTK, like, where you could just do it as literally as many times as you want over and over. That makes it feel kind of farcical, where that stupid bird came into play. So they did stop that from being effective now, which I forget how exactly they did that. They changed what the bird can trigger, or they changed the cost of it or something. Let me guess, they're gonna fucking use Flame Strike or something, which I'm walking right into it, and there's nothing that punishes it here. I could have almost done the Nerubian thing to try to discourage that, but I just got lucky and they didn't have it, I guess. But yeah, even this is nice because again, it's making your spells cost more, which some of these AoE buffs are already so shit and inefficient, but obviously I don't really have that much interest in playing spells normally, so it's a worthy trade-off to make. I think we honestly just got lucky there a little bit. You know, here is a buff plate for the ages, but you only take 1 damage at a time. Like, how many fucking times do you get to do that, bro?
I seem to have lost the surface.
Time runs out on me.
That's the whole sad thing with like Wild versus Twist. You could use the same stuff you would use in Twist anyway, but it's just, you know, you would choose to, what do you call it? Talking about fucking overkill, dude, if you actually added these values up in return. But no, it's like you would I don't know. AoE is one of the things that really punishes this deck. Right, but even then it can be kind of a little bit inefficient. He just let this board stick around for way too long, but it's all part of his master plan. Obviously, he's gonna have Ice Block. There's no way I can even do like a lesser amount of damage because, you know, it's just gonna be a one shot no matter what, unless I hit him with my hero power first. I mean, these are kind of sexy values, but it doesn't mean it's actually gonna do anything. Ice Block, for fuck's sake, dude. All part of his plan, but how many more forms of CC could you have? Probably as many as you fucking want. But no, like, you could play whatever limitation is in Twist in Wild anyway. Like, oh, I want to make a deck with no legendaries in it, or with no rare cards or high or something. And it's like, you could play like that, and it's the kind of thing that people like me would do anyway, just for the fuck of it, or the fun of it, or just to try it. But then it turns from that to nobody's actually going to do it, but you theoretically could in Wild. I mean, you theoretically could in Standard too, to some extent, but at least in Wild you have more options to choose from, obviously. What could his secret possibly be? See, the whole secret guessing game goes out the window with how many just cards there are in the game now. It feels so bloated that, you know, arguably early on in the lifespan of Hearthstone, you could have potentially guessed, like, okay, he didn't trigger when I summoned a minion, so it must be something related to a spell or something, counter spell. May as well just keep fucking doing this. Shouldn't one of these have given them taunt though? Hand, deck, and battlefield, which again, that's the only thing that made this arguably better than Lorthamar, but it's still not worth it. Because +4/+4 is going to be on average less than what you would get from Lorthamar, because everything is going to be 5/5 and up, usually. And then it also does it to only your deck. This does it to your hand and your battlefield. Those are the elements that actually make it better, but come on. Well, Jesus Christ, that's how you know it's a bot. Dude wants to pretend like he has Wind Fury over here. Another class that I didn't play necessarily that much, obviously Shaman. And that's kind of the next one I want to do and fuck around with Evolve and stuff. Okay, that seemed more like a desperation play than an actual OTK, but what would I know? Come on, man. This guy's gonna fucking put me to sleep. What is he doing? Yeah, at least we got to see some of these sexy values, which is often the point of why these decks are very fun. They create like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Antagonist vibe, almost like bro thinks he's Rex Raptor or something. Like where they'll summon some crazy shit and then the heroes have to deal with it somehow. I'm gonna summon my Divine Serpent Gale with fucking infinite attack points. And they fucked that up too, the way they showed it in the show, because the Divine Serpent had the rule like Darts' health hits 0, so the point is if the Serpent dies, he loses the duel. Whereas with Yugi, his deck master basically there is like the Dark Magician girl, so only if she dies does he lose. So with the 3 knights or whatever that he sends at the thing, it's like, oh, we've created a force beyond infinity, but they didn't need to do that. All they needed to say was, you know, the knights sacrifice themselves to kill the serpent, both with infinite attack, so it equals out like a normal interaction. Like, you know, something with 3,000 attack hits something with 3,000 attack, they both die. So here the same thing would happen, but Darts would lose because if the serpent dies, he dies. Whereas with the knights, they weren't considered that same way for Yugi as much of a consequence because only the dark magician thing was there. That's random tangent, but it's pretty pertinent. Objection. Okay, I probably should have played that first, but again, how would you have known that was exactly what it was going to be? He does seem to have trouble dealing with my board, but it just doesn't matter because I can't finish him off. Have like a million defensive options, the 1 damage per turn thing, the fucking ice block, whatever you want, dude. I love how laughably long some of these matches can go on for, too. Not really the sort of thing I would expect at this stage in the game's lifespan or at this rank or whatever you want to call it. It just feels weird.
Don't think too hard. You'll hurt yourself.
Okay. Draw a different arcane spell. Okay. Holy shit. Time Warp should really be immune to any sort of spell effect like that. It's like you should only get the effect from actually playing it the one time in the correct way. It shouldn't work with all these other things that cycle or, oh, play your highest cost thing from the graveyard or whatever just so you can keep doing it again and again. That's one weird thing about this game actually historically, is that it never had a graveyard technically. You could never see, or you still can, obviously. You can't really see even what's in there. You just have to remember. And no effects really had anything to do with it until you start to get some of these, like the priest, obviously, with whatever. Hurry up, bro. See, there's not going to be one turn where I get to fucking deal with not being frozen here. Yeah, I'll keep this one going for a little bit. So this month will still be the Druid thing. And I almost would like to complete some of the holes with it, but I just don't think I'm ever going to get enough gold to actually fucking do that. So the 3/5 with taunt. Minion die. This turns on another. Freeze all enemy minions, deal 4 instead. But that should mean that they still won't refreeze. So I should actually still be able to use them, shouldn't I? Holy shit, now you see why I get hearts like a bronze rank 10 chicken rank. Because even if you were winning these, it would take you a whole lifetime to actually do it. It's just kind of weird that people have the desire or the capability to even do that here. That's pretty good too. I mean, the taunt's gonna be pretty hard to argue. Look at this beautiful board, but it means nothing because this guy's gonna have an answer for everything. Come on. I like how obnoxious the tentacles are, where they actually cut off some of the card art and stuff. I wonder how, or if they even feel the need to ever change that. Come on, man. You're just never gonna run out of a number of options here. Look at how long this goes on for, bro. Does that mean he doesn't have an option because he wouldn't have done that otherwise, or he's trying to slowly chip away at it? Come on, what the fuck are you doing? I'm almost too tired to even fucking do this shit. Can we please just win this game, dude? I'm done. I hate doing this sort of late stream. Maybe I'll do a little short. I hate doing that too, but I might have time tomorrow, so I could do a short session there and like combine the two. Okay, dude. I even celebrate. Oh, the bird is no longer here, but this is what you get instead then. Okay, we can still do it even if unless you keep doing this over and over. Fuck, man. This gives you like Shutterwalk vibes or some shit where you just keep redoing the same effects over and over again. Average bronze rank 10 matchup, by the way, too. Yeah, there should be some sort of diminishing return capability on some of these things that you can't replay the same card more than 3 times or something because off stupid effects like this. Sometimes that is what happens. They just have like an infinite number of options all the time for everything. Yeah, I heard you like Time Warp, so fuck. Even one's not enough there. I don't like the design either, but my god, this will take literally all fucking night. What if I just had some direct damage capability to the face? You could win like that, but I obviously don't. And his hand is kind of jacked out. Come on. This is one of those bullshit things, man. Like how you can tell, oh yeah, haha, totally not power creep. Not only you get to play really strong cards, but you get to play them over and over and cycle them forever. Just make a fucking dead man's hand troll deck, and this is the kind of even matchup it would be because we'd both be cycling like clowns the whole way. Look at how long this one game has gone on for. Like, holy shit, dude. It's not even like he's BMing that hard, I don't think. It's just he's taking forever every turn. Oh, I don't think I heard his stat line before. Errors upon errors. According to them, even the whole most races of Azeroth are in themselves errors. Like, it was an error that allowed the humans to exist because it was the Vicryl who were sort of humanized by the Curse of Flesh, or whatever. Well, this guy's like the final boss of the whole fucking game. Not because he's so good or anything, but because he's gonna take the rest of your life to actually do. Oh my god. Didn't you just be able to finish me off with that? But yeah, we'll fuck around with this one a little bit more. That's basically my point. Because this one is pretty fun from the perspective of, yeah, play an average of 1 game every episode, because that's how this is gonna go. Or you could just be trolling, but see, this could actually save you unironically, because not only did they buff its value to a 14, but they also gave you the stupid taunt. Which again, I'm in. Oh, come on. Is he even trying to BM? Because it doesn't seem like he's trying to win, but I don't know why you take that chance. Oh, come on, man. Fuck. You could just do this the rest of the fucking life. Or we'll have like a Hodir caliber moment where we're top decking and our last card in our deck is Hodir that summons 4 8/8s in a row because, okay. And then we actually win. So it's worth it to play it out for that reason alone. Not that we have that in here, but not that we have anything in here that could be that good. What is another... I don't know. I guess I could just kind of keep dicking around with that one. But maybe I'll do an episode tomorrow to make up for how short this is. See you tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to continue this just because yesterday's session was kind of short and I was like half asleep, which that tends to happen a lot with Hearthstone. Not even to a fault of the game per se. Yeah, like my decks are really just that boring or something. But I guess just Sunday I try to catch up on real life stuff, so then I sometimes start a little bit too late and then I'm just tired, even more tired than normal. I'll do this and then I'll segue into Magic, which is the unholy combination. You shouldn't be allowed to do that because these two games are like competing and obviously always accused of copying each other. So I don't know whether my prognostication that the current Magic expansion copied Castle Nathria is true or not. Somebody commented like it's in a joking, ironic way on that video, but I don't know actually, and I wouldn't bother to look anything up on it. But yeah, I mean, I can understand a certain amount of overlap, but the name is almost too much on the nose. And what I kind of like with this is I still have to complete some of my collection here with respect to... It's kind of sad when we have this issue happen so much, but basically we would have to still make some more of these things. Like Kaliseth is missing. Like, are we really going to get to do it before the thing is over? Which is unfortunate if I can't. We'll go through a whole month of playing as this and we won't even be able to use what I really wanted to use. It's kind of hard to believe too, but this is my whole stupidity of disenchanting everything in a rotation. Yeah, we could do that with every Warcraft character, the F, M, or whatever game. I don't know why you have to include the other thing in there. That seems a little bit dark, but the third option is sort of nothing to do with the other two. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, that's one gimmick I maybe never did too much. We should do like an all poison deck. But again, all these things are always bad, and there's no way to make them good unless you do it in some other way, like you use a meta deck and you just happen to put a few things in there, like the little Galakron imp meme. I just put it in there just because it has to do with imps, but which one is the... What the fuck? Oh, it must have went here. Whenever you play a game other than chess, I'm just going to talk about chess. Yeah, I tend to have that tendency too, actually. I often make analogies to it and stuff like that. Even before I really played it that much, I would sometimes do that. So that's the whole beauty of it. It's always been a point of fixation or ideation for me. But then again, there is a sense of like, you know, you can kind of diminish and de-romanticize it so easily. You can just say... Here's how it works. If you study a lot and play a lot, mainly study actually, you'll become better. So that's all you have to do. So it's like you really want to put in the time and the effort, and that's all there is to it. So it doesn't make it seem like quite as impressive then. It's like, oh, this guy just studies all day every day and plays a board game all day every day. So of course he's going to be good at it. You better be good at it if you're going to put that much time into it. I was almost keeping shaman stuff in case I want to do that next with the evolve thing. This is kind of a little bit lame though. That I have to do this every time, because like then we go to do shaman and then we're not going to have enough for that either. All these probably new mechanics and cards, not that this is even really new, but that's like Alliance Horde coloration. So what does that have to do with classes though? Or is it meant to, I don't even understand that. We've had our fill of playing warrior for probably a long... Oh shit, why did I think I couldn't even do that one? We'll have enough for like one legendary, but I don't know if that's even going to be satisfactory for me now. Your top 2.5% other chess percentile. That's impossible. What, just from being 1700? Really? If your deck has no duplicates, your battle cries trigger twice for the rest of the game. Those effects can often be pretty boring and stupid too. Like when it makes something happen for the whole game, it makes it feel so kind of forced in a way. Where did I get all of these even? I'm so confused. Okay, what did I want? I got the Scarabs. I could either choose Malfurion, the Trog, or Kaliseth. Jungle Giants I'm not even going to worry about. So, let me think. Caliseth is kind of cute because if you do Embiggen, it works pretty well. I feel like you kind of need a hero though. It doesn't have to be Malfurion either. Like, let me see what other hero cards there are for that. We're not going to have enough for the other thing here yet. So the Trog is kind of essential too though. Damn. There's just too many things that I fucking need. I think I'll do a hero. I won't even say Malfurion. But Guff, as good as Guff is, it kind of doesn't serve a purpose because it's not going to have anything to do with this deck. Not that this deck has much of a good cohesive theme to it anyway, but just like it's not going to support it in any meaningful way. Okay, get rid of this thing. Holy shit, dude. This is like a sloppy way of doing what I'm trying to do, where I should already be prepared, but this is how I am with stuff. Like, I don't play anything off stream, so if I'm going to do it, I'll just do the whole thing here. You get to see the full, unedited, raw experience, which, speaking of chess, that's actually a good way to do it because you will have a very authentic experience to show what it takes. Yeah, the percentiles are pretty easy to game the system. Like, yeah, even I'm like top 40 percentile, which doesn't seem that big of a deal. But like for a clown like me who's completely garbage and doesn't know anything, right, it's kind of like, why would that even be a question? Like, I shouldn't be anything. Even by my own admission, like I haven't put forth the effort even to do that if you assume it's going to take the time. So let's see, what was I trying to do? I can make one legendary and I can't decide what it's going to be. And of course, even if you look up hero card, it's not going to only show the hero cards. Not that there's really going to be that many. So Malfurion the Pestilent, set your maximum mana to 20, gain an empty mana crystal, draw a card. Like, it is good. Maybe I should do this instead. Like, I've never really used him. Wait, that's it though? So there should be a third one, shouldn't there? It's all inconsistent, the number of hero cards that they gave to every... How can this be every hero in the history of the game for Druids? That doesn't seem right. That seems more fitting for like Death Knight or Demon Hunter. I don't know if they even ever added one for Death Knight still. I kind of stopped paying attention. I don't know. Like, there's nothing really that good about... Yeah, he's just a fun card though. I like him. So I would set it to 20, which I'm not going to last long enough for that to be relevant. And that, you know what? I'll do it though, just for the fuck of it. He was really busted for a while, where you could do like a billion damage combo or something. And I'm not even going to necessarily have room for it or know what to get rid of. You get rid of one of these various shitty buff cards, which even Cenarius is in there for that same purpose. Like, we don't even have a duplicate copy of anything, but yet we still have to do this. So the Unraveler was always one of my favorite cards, even though it's not good in any way. It's like a little bootleg Lothab, but it does it as a permanent effect. You obviously got to have Lothab in there. You have the Trog. Like, I don't know what to even get rid of. Everything is very cohesive with the theme of the buffs and everything. Here, let me just put him in there and then we'll figure out what to do. The Winged Guardian should be in there too, right? Just make sure we have one copy of each. Yeah, that one thing is going to fuck up the whole thing. Like, you're very rarely going to get to actually play some of these higher cost ones, but what is something that just doesn't fit at all? Kind of like the Scarabs actually doesn't, but it's cute because you can do it and then you can do any of your various buff cards to make this happen. I mean, I could do Renethal fucking just for... It should almost be like a flexible thing. Like, you can do Renethal, but you don't have to have 40 cards. You can just have anywhere between 30 and 40, and you can dynamically choose it. The level of freedom that a game like Magic the Gathering gives you, where you can have anywhere from 60 to like 250, right? That's the whole beauty of it. I could get rid of him, I guess, but that would be still kind of a fun interaction. Damn, it's just so perfect. Like, everything is where it needs to be. It's almost like I don't want the fucking Guff. There's nothing I can really justify getting rid of because you want one of each of the buff cards. You know, this is almost stupid, to be honest with you. That is like, oh, it's AoE protection, but that's not really something I would use with the theme of the deck. So let's just play this a whole bunch, and we'll see what we can do. I'm still bronze rank 10, even though I did do that little session of it before. But that one game took like the whole fucking time. That's the problem. Some of these clowns just take forever. Like, I don't care about... See, the rank here is cosmetic, too. It's not like you're really trying to rank with this. You're just trying to play it. But it's still more fun to play in Wild than it is to play in Casual. They even use the... I was gonna say... Like, they reused Mecha Jiraxis, but they even reused the voice line for it. They didn't say Mecha Mining Jiraxis or whatever the fuck, Mecha Drill. As if that wasn't enough to fucking make one joke on the guy. This is what happens when a game is out for so long. They have to keep pulling shit out of their ass like this. And sure, you might say, oh, it's just a cosmetic, but it won't... Oh shit, look, he's copying me. What are the chances that anybody would ever play that card? Like, why would you? It's never been good in the whole history of the fucking game, even if I always love the effect. Yeah, when I first started playing, this was what I would look at. Like, oh, I wish there were more cards like this, but that's a fact. And you have to wait like almost fucking 6 years or whatever for Gul'dan to come out. I don't understand. Did he do something that copied something from my deck? He didn't. So how come he would have, or he couldn't have even, because I wouldn't even have, I don't even have 2 of them in there. This is the whole fun of Wild too, especially at a low rank. You'll see all these kind of weird decks that are either it's the best that they can make, or it's it is some form of gimmick deck themselves. Like, they're not trying to make it for the best. The only bad thing with this is we'll lose the Sexy Cthulhu, which is half the fun of playing as Druid right now. Just getting to show that off. I had gotten it a while ago whenever it was available, but then I never played it. Yeah, that's not too bad. Or, I mean, again, half these people we could be playing are bots. People come up with all these theories. If it's the gear card back, it must be a bot. So in this case, if it's a Mecha Jiraxis, it must be a bot because he's a robot technically. Yeah, some of these buff cards are really, really shitty, to be fair. And so some of them you just kind of unload like that. What you want to do is get to the late game a little bit, and then you're able to play Lorthamar and see some of these sexy interactions. Because imagine what a nightmare some of these cards are to deal with if you double their stats or just increase their stats overall. So it just shows you how antiquated some of this stuff is. Like, you could play all these cards combined, and they would barely do what Lorthamar does by himself while summoning a 7/7. Like, this is how stupid the power creep gets, but I'll still indulge it. Because it's more about, again, staying consistent to the theme and having every card in the deck match that theme. And the twist mode does seem at least moderately interesting, but the fact that it changes every day is kind of hard to even keep up with. So maybe I'll play it a little bit later on in the... Well, I don't want to play it towards the end of the thing, though, either. And it's like them teasing me, because then it'll be too much like the modern game anyway. They're teasing me with what I always ask for, like, do a rotating format, like classical through all the expansions, but don't do it like that. You know, where it's that quick. You got to do it over a long period of time. So every month, instead of the twist mode, they could just keep adding one more expansion from the beginning of the game. And then you can kind of relive these past metas and everything. But then, even then, they would try to rebalance and change shit over time. Oh my god. Now this I kind of got a little bit unlucky with, just because we didn't get stuff to play on curve. If we can survive, which I might have a vague chance of doing, then I could maybe do something, but... What a god start, though. He fucking starts off with with 2 fairy dragons. That's how you know this guy's serious. Draw a card, gain an empty mana crystal. I don't think that would matter too much, but in the best case, like, this guy would have saved me if it was Malfurion, because he would have summoned the 2 Scarabs, but he wouldn't really have been that much better. Yeah, I'm doing the hero more so just as a novelty. How can there only be 2 hero cards for Druids? That doesn't seem right. Because, like, some of them got them by themselves, right? They released the whole set together, right? Like, all the Death Knight hero cards, but then they slowly started to release, like, one at a time, so everybody got pissed. Like, why does this expansion, the Warrior gets Dr. Boom, the hero, and then one expansion, the Shaman gets Hagatha, the Witch, or whatever, right? But then nobody else gets one. So they kind of imbalanced it that way with the number that each class got. You might say, oh, it doesn't matter, but it just feels like whether they're really that strong or overpowered or not is even not the point. It just kind of feels like such a transformative thing that feels like you're missing out. Or like Warlocks got ultimately spoiled that way with respect to, you know, they had it at the very beginning of the game before that was even really a mechanic that was established, just in the form of Jiraxis.
Cthulhu versus the Lich King.
Yeah, that's the whole king of the sandcastle idea. Speaking of percentiles, like, it's not hard to be top 1 percentile at something just because it means that you actually commit to it, right? That's like, do you take it seriously, or are you like the ordinary person who just does it like as a hobby or a game or something? If you take it seriously, you can be 1%, but then the real challenge begins. Can you be top 1% of the 1% or whatever? Can you be like 0.01% or something? And then you have something to get into. But it's very unfair to say that, because I hate that. Somebody said that with Alex Botez and stuff, like, well, she's top 1% in the world, but it's like, that's just entry level for professional players. Like, if you, I don't know, it's just stupid. Like, if you take the game remotely seriously, you should be that. Like, what? How much worse can you be without, you know, with being known for it in any way? There's 25,000 people in the world better than you, so what are you comparing yourself to? People who don't really play? Or how does that even factor in? Like, you know, top 1% of what? Just people who play online or something? One game after work they play, and now they have to be subjected to your fake elitist nonsense where you act like, oh, haha, I'm better than you, but it's like, they don't even play, they don't even care. Which, again, you might think that's an excuse framing, but it's like, if you really want to be good at something, you just have to put in the time to do it, which applies especially to something like that.
I see. I do not.
His voice is just all wrong, dude. So this is not the best start, but as long as I get something I can actually summon, I don't mind even using this like that. It just feels kind of stupid. Just flooding the board a little too much, but if I can outlast it, I can have some sexy plays later. But yeah, it's almost like something like this would be suited more for the Twist format, that you can get away with playing shittier stuff than normal, and it won't be as bad there. But I still got destroyed, like the one with no legendaries in it. But you were still able to play a lot of the evasive stuff, like the Draconid comes to mind, the 7 mana 7/7 evasive taunt. Like, that's pretty good for just a neutral card, or a, you know, common rarity card. That'll be the real test. Can we win a single fucking game with this? And it'll be because somebody AFK is out or something. I'm running into some problem consistently here where I'm just not getting actual minions on curve at all that I can play, which doesn't seem like it should be the case. You know, you could get Spreading Plague, and that could almost save you, especially if you buff it. Hard to say what sort of deck this would do really good against. It would have to be like a really slow deck that just doesn't put pressure on the board, so I can actually beat them on the board, which is kind of the whole point. Speaking of AoE buffs, and given how out of the loop I am with Warcraft lore, I wouldn't even know whether some of these characters are actually in the games or not. Like, is Guff some major lore character that I either just forgot about, or it came out after I stopped playing, or is he just made up like Rokara? It seems weird that you would feel the need to make characters up when you already have such a rich, expansive universe to work with, but like, was this really a fun and interactive match? Like, I had no chance at any point, so you could have just run it in an evaluation, and it's like, every move is already made for you, which a lot of my decks can be like that, because it's, again, it's about a gimmick. You're just doing it like, what are you? You should be a paladin with a line like that, a Sunwalker, which they somehow justified Taurens being, you know, classes, everybody being classes that they normally wouldn't be, like human hunters, or obviously Tauren paladins, and these weird crossovers that, again, are another issue with retconning and keeping a series going on for too long. I don't even necessarily care whether I win or not. I just want to see a game where I get to actually do the core mechanic of what we're going for here. Yeah, this deck was never necessarily good, but at least you got to see it play out a little bit better before. At least the 4 cost is going to be the best that we can do. I guess we just don't have. There is no 3 cost evasive minion in the whole game, right? Or at least it's like Bear Shark for Hunter, but whatever. There is none for this. And then there is no... There's only 1 2 cost. Or no, aren't there 2? There's the poisonous 2/1. Maybe I'm missing that. well, obviously the Fairy Dragon, and then you don't have anything till a 4 cost, like the 2/5 Taunt. So unless I'm missing that 2/1 poisonous thing, then I don't really know what else there is that you could put in here. You could obviously double them up, but I kind of want to keep it very consistent where everything just has 1 copy of each thing. That shows you what this game actually is to me. Like, I didn't play GTA 5 because of it, right? I always tell that story. And then now I'm still going to be playing it even when GTA 6 comes out. And you might not think, oh, that's so crazy. That would have only taken until like 2015 or 2016, right? Like a normal development cycle, 3 to 4 years, like San Andreas 2004 to GTA 4 2008. But no, it took like literally fucking 10 years, over 10 years now. And you're still going to, you know, be playing this then, which in some ways I'm even impressed it's still around. I guess I underestimate either that it still has any semblance of a player base, or that it would still have support and they would still be, you know, still be going strong with expansions and stuff. It does seem kind of weird. Or this could be the gimmick deck for Warrior, but it's not. Obviously, I would use that in the Zinazari thing. I don't know how common that was. Well, it probably wasn't that good in the first place, so. Wind Fury Divine Shield is actually pretty perfect here. But look at what an expensive, stupid play that is. Fucking. That might have been one of the things that was actually decent in the meta, or at least mildly viable. Not even the Vandar thing, with just the Dinazari could have some up and down capability to it. So this is a good spot. So now you can buff them like crazy, and hopefully they can't deal with them. But you make cards like this too easy of a target, because it's like whatever spells he's holding back that he can't use on anything else, he's obviously going to have them ready for that. That's fine, I guess. Why would he even bother? Oh. Let's see. Draconid we can't do. The buffs are kind of going to be a moot point. Yeah, the mana values just aren't. Yeah, who needs to play Magic when I'm getting mana screwed in this game? But it's like, at least it'll stay alive here. For some reason, that always happens to me in Magic, where I never get enough lands. I'll have like 20 lands in my deck, and half of my minions are like mana generating minions too, but I'll just never get enough at the beginning of the game, and I have to mulligan like 50 times. But yeah, like here, we're not getting the minions on curve at all. Copy the left and right most cards in your hand. Okay, come on. We've at least survived a decent amount of time, so now we're going to start being able to play good things. But now we want, like, Lorthamar. It's just like, think about the satisfaction. You play a 7-mana 14/14 with Taunt, even in today's day and age. That's pretty good. And then you can buff it further, and they can't do anything about it. So I like that feeling of powerlessness that it gives to your opponent, that they just can't do anything about it. And always my motto, like Richard Rapport in chess, it's more important to troll your opponent than it is to actually win. And so in my context with Cardiums, it's more important to make your opponent feel powerless than it is to beat them. So we at least have some stuff that we're actually playing here. That worked out pretty... Oh, wow. At least we get to see a fun interaction one way or another, whether I get to do it or not. So we could buff it to some extent, or I should really just do this. We are still going to get the Reborn effect, which you can't really do a whole lot about, or you could hit it with the stupid claw. What the fuck is going on, dude? Now we're going to have to deal with our own preferred thing. He probably should just whack that, or he can just do it again anyway. What the fuck? Oh, shit. What an OTK combo, as if he would have known that he would have drawn that exact thing at that exact time, or maybe that isn't a... I mean, clearly that would be very efficient for that purpose. Who needs charge in this day and age to do like an OTK? But let's look for that 2/1 poisonous thing. Why is that not in here if it isn't? It's not. What the fuck? You have one job to put in the can't be targeted shit, and I failed to do it. That at least you got one copy. The Chimera is not in there. And so now we'll have to get rid of something else too. I mean, at some point we should just get rid of some of these buff cards because they kind of suck, but That is kind of a big difference maker. The reason why I'm not getting anything to play in the early game is because I was missing that. Look how few there still are, though. That's the whole sad thing about it. I'm not missing any. Or they all have to do with like your hero or like an AoE thing. Oh yeah, I forgot about Sogod too, which is a real shame. Yeah, by the end of this, I would actually have to put Renathal and fucking have 40 cards. Like, what else could I get here? Get rid of. You could almost get rid of Guff. I mean, he's not even, even though I just went out of my way to make him. Wait, what? Oh no, because I already put that in there. Yeah, let's fuck Guff for now. But I almost should have just made Malfurion, or they're almost both kind of useless. Or what's interesting with some of these gimmick decks is like, I would have, you know, you have no healing or defensive stuff in them because you're so focused on whatever thing you're trying to do. The only form of healing or defensive capability I would have would be just to play like Jiraxis or somebody to, back in the day, like when it would give you back up to 15 health, or just the act of playing any of them and giving you armor. So that 5 armor would be the only form of defense or healing that I would have in any way. That was true like with the mage one, Jaina. So she was like, I would summon all these anti-spell evasive things, but then I would still get low on health. So I would play Frostwolf Jaina, not even for the lifesteal or the water elemental, although that would obviously help, but just for the 5 armor. It's like I paid 9 mana for 5 armor, which even back in that day and age, never mind all the power creep standard now, that was still obviously extremely inefficient, but that's almost what you would do it for. Every once in a while, you would think I should try something more modern or meta, but I almost don't even care. Or I don't play enough to really do that either, because you're looking at it from a perspective of, I almost want to do like a multi-category thing here, since I'm doing this on a day that I don't normally do it. Like it's 2 o'clock, so 2 to 3 I'll play Hearthstone, then 3 to 4 I'll play Magic, let's say, then 4 to 5 I could play like chess, but I shouldn't even do that, because for the amount that I do it off stream, it almost feels like an insult to, maybe I'll just do Magic, but you know, it feels like an insult because you're already doing that whenever I have time. You know, here and there I'll do a little session and record it. Kind of a good way to get myself used to doing that, because I don't have as much time to stream these days, so if I have a little time, it makes it more comfortable, because you can just do like 1 game at a time. Like I have 10 minutes free now, so I'll just play 1 game, and then I'll, you know, whatever, do what I gotta do, and then that's almost like my old AFK style. It's like you could stream all day, quote unquote, but you might go AFK periodically and even for long periods of time, but it wouldn't matter because, you know, in the end, you stream for 8 hours, and you're still there for like 6 of them, so it still works out pretty well. That's way more than what I could do now, so if the price is going AFK here and there, it's a small price to pay, and I wouldn't have even come back to streaming if I didn't do that. Right, so it got me in the right comfort zone, or the mentality, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it, and if people don't want to watch, that's fine, because obviously, whatever, if you go AFK, they can just stop watching. Or there is like some rule that you can get in trouble, like, oh, you're supposed to put up like an overlay or something, but then also like, oh, to show your AFK, but also people like do streams of themselves sleeping. But because I'm not doing face cam, oh no, that invalidates it. So now I can't just show a static screen of what's on my computer, even if I'm AFK and nothing's happening. I have to actually put an AFK screen. But if I was sleeping in bed and I had a camera pointed to me doing nothing, like, I don't understand that, because some people do that where they do like a 24-hour a day stream all the time. I can't remember the name. There was one girl who was like that I was talking about. But there's all kind of people who do it, and it's like, that's the one I was making fun of for the privacy comment. Like, she doesn't, something she's worried about her privacy, but it's like, you're streaming yourself, showing yourself all day, every day, and everything that you're doing, and yet you're worried about privacy. It's like, I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do, but it's like, that's probably the least, that's the most invasive thing you could do. So if you're worried about that, you probably shouldn't do it. It's like with celebrity culture, like, there's always ups and downs of everything where, you know, people will complain, oh, the paparazzi are bothering me and stuff, and that doesn't justify them bothering you if you're a celebrity. But on the flip side, it's like, you got to take the good with the bad. You can't say, you know, you're famous, you're successful, everybody, you know, wants to know what you think or cares about your opinion and this and that, and wants to see what you're up to. So that's the plus side, but the downside is, yeah, some people might take it too far. So I just don't like the victimization sometimes in that way, even if obviously some people take it too far. It's like with LeBron, people are having this conversation, LeBron versus Michael. Like, oh, LeBron gets criticized for every little thing, like on Twitter and all these talk shows. But he also gets praised constantly, and you have people calling him the GOAT like every other day and this and that. He itches his nose at age 40, 38, whatever. And people are like, wow, most impressive thing ever. Like, people simply take it too far to the extent that, you know, you're getting both the plus and the minus. So you can't just look at it one way. So at the same time, you're getting praised for every little thing you do. So that would have benefited someone from the old days too if they were here now. So yeah, I love this sort of excuse-making culture. Why is this such low resolution? I always would say that too. Everything else is fine, but that's just not one part of it. Oh, it's to play a tribute to the classic vibe of it, the old school graphics, which really weren't even bad at all though in vanilla. The best way to look at vanilla WoW objectively is to say, compare it to like single player games of the time. So like Half-Life 2 was one of the best games of 2004, and as great as it is and the impact that it had even with mods and all the influence, the reality is that basically it's a case where it's a case where you basically would be like, you know, which game really had more staying power or more replay value and things like that. And that automatically doesn't make it better, but it's hard for me to say, even as much as I like Half-Life 2, that it's better than WoW Classic. Like, there's just so much to it. The depth of the story, the characters, the lore, you know, different environments, locations, exploration, combat, the, you know, talent trees, metagaming, whatever the fuck, rating. There's just way too much for me to not say that, so... But now we get to actually finally have some fun, and we can make it even better for ourselves if I simply decide to do that. See, when it works, it's going to be cool, but he's still going to have some way to remove it. But this is where it puts you to the test. What could you possibly do to remove it? Even something like Meteor is going to do the bulk of the damage to the one that you actually target, so it'll only do like 3. So I'd love to see how you can deal with this. This is a card gaming fetish for the ages. Like my chess fetish is closed positions because it mucks everything up and it makes it so defensive, and then I'll clearly win in that sort of position. But it's the same thing here. My card game fetish is I just want to make you feel powerless, and there's nothing you can do about it. And even as I'm saying this, you might actually come up with something, but... I love those little musical cues they put in there for... Fuck, dude. It's still okay, but it's a little bit tricky for sure. You know, it might almost be worth it just to do this. It's like, really, you're summoning a 14/14. So fuck it, dude. But it's still not even like a definitive thing, but he just didn't have an answer for it, that's the thing. So that was worth it, even if you only get one of them out of it. And then we can effectively heal them, quote unquote, by doing these buffs, but it's not a very efficient form of doing it. Yeah, he almost was like, oh yeah, I did this crazy play. Oh no. Ah, fuck. Got about minion effects. Or he was saying that, well played, but not for you. He's not saying it because that was going to win me the game. It's going to win him the game. And of course, there's no way I can possibly recover from this. So isn't it weird that I'm losing to my own theme and mechanic so many of the times where... It's like we lost to the fairy dragon in the first one, or we lost to the priest in the other one that we played yesterday, where he stole all my cards.
You fight well, friend.
At least that's so stupid though. We got to see what the purpose of the deck is, but we don't get to actually benefit from it or win because of it. That's so stupid. How is everything just designed to perfectly fuck me over? That's so dumb. They always have the perfect answer. There's no spell they can cast. There's nothing they can do, but there's just too many fucking power creep crazy cards. Although I haven't seen that Sylvanas in a while, to be fair. The one time I see it is the one time it's going to be perfectly useful. You cannot even let me have the satisfaction of this gimmick trash that I'm doing. Doing so badass, he makes the text get cut off for Druid, and he also fucks up the whole board where he takes up someone's space with the tentacles. We may as well even just keep that because we're having a lot of trouble in the early game. And yeah, the real reason why we get rid of Guff or Malfurion is so that we can just see Cthulhu the whole time. But no, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the whole excuse-making culture of like everybody always wants to blame something like, oh, it's the fault of technology or it's the fault of a website like OnlyFans or something, where people would say, oh, haha, you know, that's like the real bad thing. It's just a way to make something more convenient. So it's like, I don't know, like dating sites and stuff. None of that really hurts anything. First of all, it's your choice whether to use it or not. It's your choice whether to take it seriously or not. It's your choice, you know, how much you use it or how far you take it. And it's also your choice on top of that, like who you choose to engage with on there, how you choose to engage with them. Like that could be more meaningful than what you do normally. What do you want to do instead? Go to a bar and hit on somebody there? It's like people glorify everything in one direction, where it's like, I'm not saying you should use them or that they're good, but people just sort of scapegoat these things a little bit too much. Like, oh, that's responsible for the decline of something in society. And it's like, you could just choose not to use it. So the fact that you would choose to use it and that it would have such a big impact says more about you than it does about the thing, right? So therefore, don't blame that. Blame the person for even indulging it.
My eyes are open.
Okay, this guy's using like one of those classic fucking decks, which of course, whenever they introduce something good or a new format, they fuck up the other one. I mean, best value play that we had, objectively, just have a fucking bot play for me, because there's only often one play that I have to make, but doesn't mean it can't still be satisfying, fun, and interactive. Because that really is how a lot of these go. Like, you just play whatever's on curve, and you don't have much of a choice, because there is nothing more to it than that. Man, we keep getting fucked over with the cost of these things, though. All you have to do is hang in there, though, and retain some semblance of board control. And if you can do that, then you'll be in perfect shape to take advantage of these crazy values. We're eventually going to get to show off what I'm trying to do. It's just going to take forever to get there. I haven't seen this much snake oil since people in chess trying to tell you the easy way to get better, even though the real way is just to play a ridiculously obscene amount of time that nobody wants to admit, right? Which anybody could theoretically do. I guess there's nothing I can really do there either. We're always like 1 mana short or something, just where that's why we need Guff. Just we're like a little bit too slow with what we're doing. There's like 2 turns that we totally just wasted. We passed that one, and then we passed basically the other one where I buffed the Trog because there was nothing else I could do. Yeah, everything is like excuse-making culture where you blame the external thing rather than the people themselves. Right, there's always a new thing, like, oh, it used to be comic books, they make our kids behave bad, or now it's rock music, now it's movies, now it's TV, now it's video games. It's always something. It just can't be the innate nature of people in the first place. And then beyond that, it's a case where I guess I have to do that, more so for survival. Beyond that, it's like, what do you call it? Everybody has like an easy answer, easy way out, like with learning something like, oh yeah, you just have to do this or you just have to do that, but there is never just one answer. It's more in like totality. You have to commit to it, you have to do it all day every day, you have to put a lot of time, a lot of effort, all these kind of different things. That's the way that you would actually do it. What if I do just kind of hang around, but now the infernals are going to become difficult to deal with, but that's all I have to do is just keep playing one of these fucking things every turn. And see, the theme of a lot of these decks ends up being almost the same thing, which is why I like the whole Zinazari thing or something. Like, you get big stuff out there and you just kind of enjoy it, but the problem is, by today's standards, that wouldn't be that big after all. Like, even some of the stuff I'm summoning isn't going to be that crazy, or, you know, even, what do you call it? Like, the Zinazari stuff, it seems cute in theory, but it just never holds its own the way that it probably... Maybe not to say with the rose-colored glasses, oh, the way it would before when I used to use these like way back in the day, or as early as you could have used them. But the problem with that is even then they kind of sucked. So yeah, this is what we really need. Or even this would be beautiful. +2/+2 taunt. That'll really beef up the other guys. And whatever kind of AoE shenanigans he does here are going to be in vain. So he's going to have a removal for that. So how do we deal with the 6/6 Infernal every turn, though, is the big question. And it is going to be difficult, for sure. As we have to keep getting taunts or something to carry us. Yeah, the ones that really give you taunt are the better value. Give your minions +2/+2. Like, this is completely garbage because we're not going to use the Treant thing. Right, we're not going to have any. That's why we got Soul of the Forest in there as a synergy, but that was almost just there as a filler card and just to say, like, oh, we have some AoE protection in case they do manage to AoE our very hard to kill things. Then we get to get Treants for them, because that makes it all better. Or, like, Poison Seeds is always one of my favorite cards, because it just has, like, such a... Early on in the game, it had such a transformative effect, where there was just, like, really nothing like it. It's like an AoE polymorph, almost. Wait, Lothab wouldn't be bad. But unfortunately, that doesn't stop his little infernal shit from being effective. Like, you're never going to win this race, but this could at least turn into a fun thing. At some point, you should almost just go phase. Because, yeah, these taunts are what really are saving me. Where he's going to make some stupid play where he decides to play something else and not actually play the infernal. That's all you have to do. I'm not going to be able to outvalue it. And then you can still do whatever the fuck you want. Like, it makes you think how well that effect holds up. With Drax's, it's like... You know, it used to reduce your health to 15 as a punishment to make that seem more fair, but how busted was Drax's when the game first came out? Pretty fucking busted, but somehow, still, given the pace of the game and stuff, you wouldn't be able to always play it perfectly, or... But once you did get to play it with any level of comfort, then you could just basically do whatever you want. That's the thing. I don't want to give it taunt, but this might actually be worth it. Even as stupid as that seems. You know, we should probably just do that, because if he can't clear my board, then he's maybe just fucked. So you'll have to trade in. That could have been a very bad idea, but you would assume he's going to have to trade in. If he can target Lothab with a spell, then we could be in trouble. Ironic. He could save others from spells, but not himself. But yeah, we need like a better version of the Nerubian Unraveler guy. So that, okay, well, at least he had to give up a lot to do that, but he gets the sexy Infernal Vac. Holy shit, dude. I mean, all we would need is one fucking damage, because we already have our claw, but we're not going to get it, are we? That was kind of my fault as far as an overcommit, but holy shit, dude. 7/1/1 Wisps. And 5/2/2 Trance. Like, what would be the thing? We can do this, and then we can do... Like, how you can deal with that, dude? That's my ace god tier final clutch play, which I've never done before with this, but it kind of fell into place. Let me guess. He's gonna... Dude, if you have an answer for this, too, I just give up, bro. How is it that we're getting, like, so many of these seemingly winning positions? Now he'll do, like, Shadow Flame. Or he'll kill me. Just get it ready, because he's gonna always have an answer. Everybody always has an answer for everything.
I see.
Are you serious? But oh shit, shit. Fuck.
Thank you.
Oh shit, now he's gonna have another answer though, still with 9 mana left sitting. So he would have had the double Soulfire lethal combo. Oh no. That'll be the perfect lethal. You already know it. You cannot win a game with this deck. It's just legally impossible in this game. It's part of the TOS. If you play this deck, you have to agree when you sign up for the game, you cannot win. It's not possible. You're just not allowed to. Oh shit. But look what it took. Or now he's still gonna fucking... Oh shit. Oh, see, we still can't win though. I haven't seen one of those in a while. That even as a last resort, we fucking get a draw. Or it doesn't count as a draw. It actually, oh no, it does say that now. It used to say defeat, actually. When did they change that? All these random changes that they make that I never noticed or I probably forget about. It always used to say defeat for both people. So no, we still don't win one. We get a fucking draw. So like I said, you legally are bound to not ever win with this deck. It's just impossible. Some of these positions we're getting are pretty much, you know, right up the alley of what we're trying to do. But okay, so Embiggen is cute, but the problem with it is that it's still too early to play it. Like, you have to make sure that you have stuff to play, which I guess that's adequate. You're going to have a 2 and a 4, so you can just kind of deal with the early game and hope. But see, then you're going to get like a 5 and a 6, and then it'll be a 6 and a 7 instead, and that's going to kind of slow pace you even more. So even as much as I like it, it just doesn't work. So the whole dream is just to control the board a little bit, or at least survive the board till turn 7, 8, whatever. Then you get Lord Tomorrow, then you get some of these really high value things. Then you just put them down and they can't do anything about them because they're, you know, they're obviously untargetable, even though they always find a way to fucking do something about it. That is such shit, man. Like that Sylvanas play.
I see you've brought guests.
Sylvanas ruins everything. Here, I'll take my chances, but we at least have a 2, 4, and a 6. So that's a bad play, though, to do so early. But then again, it's not as impactful later on either. You almost hope that you do it and then you draw into some of these low-cost ones, but it's just not going to happen, I guess. Or I have, quite frankly, too many of these shitty buff cards, but it shows you the whole reason why I like doing this as Druid. And then, of course, I also did it as Mage, which we'll get to that later, but just... I like doing it as a Druid because you had at least a couple of these AoE buffs, even if they weren't good. It almost made them seem good in a short-term sense. Yeah, see, here we go, perfect. You could have played Keleseth right there because your only other 2-cost card, well, I guess it would be that stupid Mark of the Wild thing. That was such a cool creative play. Maybe I even came up with that one because people were questioning, why do you have Keleseth with all these 2-cost cards, but wink wink that you don't, because you make them 3 or 4-cost cards with Embiggen. So that was such a beautiful thing. That's my claim to fame in Hearthstone. I came up with that among many other gimmicky suboptimal trash things. Not that it made the deck particularly great, it's just, you know, it was interesting. Okay, that's fine with me. Yeah, even the Trog being... Oh, fuck. Even the Trog being there is like a little bit questionable because you have the ability to basically... Let's see. Fuck. This is what you kind of pay the price for if you... Yeah, getting back to that discussion, like everybody always has the answers to everything. Like they think, oh, you know, sign up for you see these ads or something, or even if you look for it outwardly, it's like, oh yeah, this guy has the answer. He'll get you to 2,000 rating in X amount of time. But, or I like that moment. Somebody offered to teach me, to tutor me in chess or something at one point, right? And what happened was, I was like, oh, can you? This was when I was doing my chess.com permanent challenge, and he's like. I asked him, can you guarantee that I'll get to 1,300 by the end of the month? And he's like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't promise that. And then I don't take his tutorship anyway. And then I get to 13 anyway. So he didn't have faith that even with his help that I could get there, but I could do it even without his fucking help. Not that that's a very high standard, but of course, everybody always has minion effects that remove stuff right when I... Not that that's like uncommon or anything, but... right when I have a deck that would only be susceptible to them. Or I guess it's unfair to complain about that because it's like, of course you would only see that because everything else that they would normally have for removal, they're not going to play. So it's like, oh, what are the chances they'll have that? But they might have a million other things. It's just, that's the only thing that works.
Such a perfect specimen.
Okay, that's at least worth it for him to commit that much in, but he kind of has to maybe. Okay, this is perfectly set up, though. If I can just play Lord Tamar and just get some of this stuff rolling. Maybe we should just go until we win one single game, which will take pretty much the whole fucking time. Okay, that's not even that big of a deal. Because most of the stuff... Although that card always did trigger me. It's like there's nothing you can really do about it. You play this on turn 3 with the coin, it's like... They're just fucked. It's not like, oh, haha, it's punishing you for having a high curve, high cost deck. No. It's like you just can't play everything in that much time, so that's so stupid. Doesn't even matter to me that it doesn't stick around. What we get to do is we get to take advantage of, you know, these increased values either way. So, Embiggen plus that obviously makes it a little better. You know, he would have otherwise only been a mere 10-10. You don't need that guy to make the fucking perfect card. You always have the perfect card. Just because that's the way this has been going. I'm literally not allowed to do anything. It's still fine, but I'm gonna need like a taunt or something now. The problem is, yeah, again, these are very inefficient cards. You have to get stuff to stick first, which doesn't necessarily always happen. This is going to be... I mean, he's obviously just going to get... Now, for this one, basic removal would not be that hard to do. And the reason why is because it's not even immune to it. So even for 5 mana, you could just play something and get rid of it. His boards that he's been summoning are not very impressive. Oh, fuck. Wait, what? Oh, I was going to say. Okay. Heal 1. I mean, I almost could just kill him with this. I could double buff and then I could do this. So he'd be at 16, 17. I would need 2 more damage. But of course, if I try to go for that, I'm going to die before anything happens. Yeah, go ahead. Just fucking sack everything into it. Even though you can target it. The one turn where you can target something, either it's Trogzor, which will summon a 3/5 if you try to target it, or it'll be Lotheb, where it's going to cost you 5 more to target it. So you see how you really rub it in their face that they can't do anything. Because, what is this? Destroy it after your hero takes damage. Look, dude. You're going to take some fucking damage, alright? Now, unless you can kill me literally this... No, no! I was gonna say I could have killed him next turn with the fucking hero power if he didn't do something, but he probably would have had an answer anyway. Okay, that was my fault. I just read the fucking thing, but I wasn't thinking. Now I can't even use the excuse of being tired because it's not even my normal late time of doing this. Okay, that was always my fault. Whether I would have won or not, I don't know, because I'm up to 8 corpses. Which that sort of introduces a corpse counter, I guess, if you're not a Death Knight, but it didn't actually even do that.
Time has come.
Like whenever something mentions it. Damn it, we could have easily done something there if we just... Fuck.
They grow up so fast.
That would have been so beautiful, but he would have still had 1 HP, so we don't know for sure what would have happened. So it's technically not a mislethal.
I see, but I do
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16. Holy shit, dude. Okay, that one I won't even complain, because that would have been entirely my fault that I would have potentially missed lethal at least. Alright, let's do like maybe 1 more. This was just to sort of make that episode seem more substantive, because I can't really seem to do those for very long. It was only like half an hour or something. Which at the pace that some of these games go could be like 1 fucking game. Alright, come on. This has got to be the win, although it is probably going to be some shit where they flood the board too early, which really is hard for me to deal with. Because, of course, I don't have any removal myself. Kind of the cost of magic, like, or being against magic, right? We're a druid that renounces magic, and we, like how a warlock renounces darkness, we renounce magic. Because there was some talk in the lore about that, like, where Malfurion and Tirana and stuff would say, oh, the mortals have misused magic, but they use magic too. Druids use magic, priests use magic, everybody fucking uses magic, kind of, like... But they say, oh yeah, we got to give this up to make sure the tragedy of the Sunwell or the Moonwell and all these kind of things don't happen again. The Moonwell, obviously, but... Or like summoning, you know, summoning Sargeras and all these kind of things that Ajara did. So Malygos did nothing wrong. He was right all along in saying that mortals can't handle magic or they always fuck everything up. Yeah, the Whizbang expansion could maybe lead to some pretty fun cards, or what better way to start it than to play as Whizbang, but I don't know if I even want to do that, because I already just did him a while ago. Or wasn't that like the last one I did before this? I can't remember. That was like before the new year. What did I do after that? I did that like right up into the new year, so what did I do in January? We did this in February, and then we're continuing it into March, the Druid. I think I did maybe a Hunter? I can't remember. But we've gone through a number of classes in this sort of rotation of doing these sort of gimmicky decks where I'm trying to basically, you know, It started off like I want to do underplayed classes, so I did Priest and Rogue, but then I forgot to do Rogue. Then I said, let's go through some of the classic favorite decks of all time, so I did Renounced Darkness, did Nazari, Explorer and Goro, Iron Juggernaut, maybe something else, and then we did Warlock and Warrior for sure. Then we did Hunter, and now we do Druid. So we haven't done Shaman, Paladin, obviously Priest and Rogue I'm not counting because I supposedly had already kind of done those to the extent that that was supposed to be the first thing I was doing. I'll probably end off with Rogue. Yeah, Mage is going to be kind of the same anti-spell thing. Shaman could be like Evolve. Paladin could be like the Exodia one. I'm just sort of picking like one favorite deck. Not that I couldn't do multiple, but just somehow... But yeah, this is like the price we pay. If we wish to counter Magic and renounce Magic, then we also have to pay the price by not being able to use Magic ourselves. And you might question that, like, what are all these other spells then? But they only have to do with our minions. They're not going to be AoE, damaging things. Right? Even the Scarab thing shouldn't be allowed, really. Or even the heal. It's more like it should be... It should be just a case of what do you call it, where it's the AoE buffs and stuff to complement what you have out there. Nothing I can do about these clowns, dude. Okay, this maybe could just hopefully keep me alive for a second, but it's just not going to. They can just keep doing this shit forever. Shuffle all 3 plays in your opponent's deck. Plagues, they should always show it here on the tooltip though. Like what it's referring to. Oh my god. Well, at least I got lucky with that, and we got very lucky with this, and we could do something crazy actually with this too. If we just simply get a good effect for this, whether it's like poisonous or something, I don't even know. Wind Fury, Stealth, +3 attack would actually be pretty good too. Let me guess, he's gonna have a perfect fucking AoE to deal with it. That's the first time we've actually played that at all, I think. I mean, this could almost be the perfect answer for that, too. Yeah, he was sort of relying on that to kill the correct one last time, but it just didn't. But he could have easily just traded into it. This is what happens when you greed too much. Okay, that's at least good, because maybe I can finally get rid of these clowns now, or maybe not. Yeah, that's often the worst thing about some of these games, is they do this whole keyword thing, which Magic the Gathering doesn't feel quite as bad about that, but like every expansion they'll introduce a new keyword as a core mechanic, and it feels very contrived. Like they'll just sort of push that in your face too much, and then everything else is like, I don't know, it just feels contrived. Then the next expansion they'll just totally forget about it or something. Whereas he got lucky with that one, but fuck, we're like 1 mana off from being able to do both of those too. I mean, I wouldn't see the downside of doing this, but the thing is... Okay, let's just get rid of one of these clowns. I can't really deal with this other dude, though, too well. Because... It's like I don't want to do it in case he'll just trade into everything and then guarantee kill it with Abomination, but there's nothing I can do because... I can't stop him from doing that. It would be totally worth it, obviously. Well, what is with this? Like, they're finding ways to deal with stuff. They can't be targeted by spells. Like, I guess there's just too many things like that in the game now. We've seen the Sylvanas, the Accused thing, to take control of it or destroy it. We've seen all these minion effects. We've seen, I don't even know, like this thing. And you might think it's my fault for not removing it, but there's nothing I have that is even any form of, not even removal, but just even damage or targeting their minions in any way. I don't care even about all that, but yeah, leave one alive and hope that this dies, and then you'll get fucked. Okay. You could have even just killed it too, but you're going to be greedy and go for this. So stupid, man. God damn. Okay, maybe I'll do even still one more. I don't think I've won a single one between yesterday's session or this one. We even have to get a fucking tie, an epic climactic tie. Although maybe that Lothab one where I accidentally hit his face first, that could have been obviously one. Okay, dude, we get the point, bro.
I
Just do it with the fucking Abomination. Cthulhu lost to this. Better than some sweaty nerds from 2006 who fucking try-harded AQ40 and acted like, oh haha, we're the heroes of the universe too. Oh, you wouldn't want to take too much of a chance with BMing me, though. You remember what happened with that Sons of Hodir match where the guy goes to BM me and then I try to, and then I get all 4 of those as my last fucking draw. Okay, dude. Okay, so the only one that seemed like it was conceivably maybe a win, which you probably still had an answer for, was that other one. Like, I gave you a chance to get an honorable kill, but you just don't want to do it. When does he say make no mistakes? Isn't that just like his idle thing? There's not an emote that makes him say that. But yeah, let's see if they ever added the Ner'zhul thing. They'll add like a 100 rank thing. They'll add a Death Knight hero, all this stuff before they ever finally fucking do the proper thing. The adding Ner'zhul in the armor. That would make me want to play Death Knights again. Like, obviously Death Knights and Demon Hunter were kind of excluding from this whole rotation I'm doing because I already played Death Knights a lot. Demon Hunters are obviously new enough to where whatever, like I kind of was just playing that almost for the first time. But yeah, they added those, but they still don't have the Ner'zhul and the armor, I'm sure. They'd rather do Death Metal King and all these stupid ones. I lost to Sai. I had to say goodbye, basically. Sai goodbye to my collection because I failed to get the 12-win thing in the draft. Like, where's Ner'zhul, bro? Who are all these fucking clown characters, but you won't do the true Lich King himself? Ner'zhul, or even Terran fucking Gorfiend, the first Death Knight. Yeah, favorite, by the way. I think I forgot to even use one of these. I kept saying I was rotating and I would use each of them for a certain period of time, and then I never actually used them.
Rosa for Sapphiron? No. For me.
Little Ivan Drago vibes. I fight for me. So what do we got here? I want to see which classes did we did Hunter, right? I don't know why I'm almost forgetting that. What do we have left to do? We have Mage, again, anti-spell, similar kind of deck. That will do Paladins, Exodia thing, maybe something else. Rogue we could maybe cap off with, and then obviously Shaman for Evolve. So those are basically the main ones. So Shaman, Paladin, and Mage are really the 3 that we still have to do. So I'll definitely do Shaman next. I've just been having that desire. So I'll do Shaman, then I'll do probably Paladin, and then I could maybe do Mage last just to... just because I don't want it to be close to this one because they're so similar. Or maybe that's a reason to do it, but at least I'll do something in between. So I could do Shaman, Paladin, and then Mage. Oh, here we go, dude. But it could be a kind of good matchup where they don't flood the board at least. Reduce the cost of all cards in both players' starting hands. Now, why is this even happening? I didn't consent to this. Non-consensual starting condition.
Your nightmare, Mickey.
What the fuck? At least if there's some card you have to start with in your deck to consensually have that happen, like the whole Nas Dormu thing. There should be a whole format like that where you can play 15-second games in this, like Bullet Hearthstone, but it's just like, you know, you would have to at least consent to it that way by having it in there yourself. There's so many fun things you can do with a game like this, but they always restrict you. Like, oh, you can only do the formats when we let you and the ones we want you to do. Just let me create my custom game where I can, like, host it in the game and say, like, oh, okay, I can do any sort of format ever, make my own rule set, all these kind of things. And even if nobody joins, that's fine. But how would that hurt, just having the option? That's so stupid. Why the fuck is that even there? Now I'll win, but it'll discredit it because, oh, haha, it's because of that. That'll counteract Embiggen too. Or I guess it has nothing to do with Embiggen, but... Okay, come on. This is my last chance, whether I win or not. Then we'll do my actual proper category of the day, Magic. Come on, don't take... Or yeah, AFK out. That'll be the win. Fuck. I wasn't doing this bad with some of the other ones. Like, I was getting the silver. I was, you know, at least winning here and there. Not that that's much of an accomplishment, but for some of these gimmick decks. Like, I remember that even with the Iron Juggernaut, this was like a couple years ago. right? Even getting the silver was like a hard thing to do, or like you would get hard stuck at around silver 10. I did that one whole episode, like a whole day, 6 hours plus, where I was playing as the Iron Juggernaut. Like, let's see how far I can get. That little gimmick deck where you flip it back with the Brewmasters and Zola and stuff, and it's like I couldn't even get past like silver 8. You would just get hard stuck there forever. So it has nothing to do with you as a player. It's like the deck is just not good enough to do it, period. The old means argument, which in so many things people don't understand, is like whatever the means you have available to you or that you're using have more to do with your success or the outcome than anything else. Right? So anybody with the same means would have the same result, or if you had like, I don't know, that's just more defining. So the deck is more defining than the player. Now, to some extent, yes, at the high level, you could say it matters to some extent, but for attack, the original counter to Priest when they had no form of removal for it. And this makes it even worse, the fact that he's fucking evasive. But no, it's like, what do you call it? I don't know. Oh yeah, like the deck would be defining. So it's like whatever you're using is more impactful than what you do as a player by far.
Reverberations in the void.
The resources, the means that you have available are the defining factor, not anything else. One of those old expressions like, oh, 75% of a card game is the deck. What's the other 25%? The RNG of what you draw in what order, or even if it's like 50-50. So 0% is actually interactive player impact. Even as much as I love card games, and it's not necessarily quite like that, but like how chess is 75% memory. What's the other 25%? Whoever goes first or second. Whoever's black or white, because you have an objective advantage as white. Which people always try to even argue against that, like, oh, somehow it's not an advantage because it's like a psychological thing where since you're expected to win, then there's more pressure on you, but that doesn't matter. Like, it obviously is an advantage. Okay, this is fine. All you have to do is get to the later stage and then we'll be unstoppable, even though he'll have a million AoE fucking removals still to deal with all this shit. Somehow. Yeah, this is the perfect sort of thing to do in this format, I guess, because I just don't play the game enough anyway, so it's not like I could do something more elaborate. So, like, even within that frame of time, right, even if I was using a meta, I guess I could use, like, an aggro deck and try to speedrun the way to fucking Legend, but I don't really even care. The one thing I wouldn't mind doing before this game completely goes offline and dies out, which who knows, could be soon, is I would like to get to a Legend rank 1 at least once, because I've never really even attempted to do that. I've only gotten to Legend a few times, and it's like every time I do, I just am kind of sick of the meta by then. Like, you know, we get the point, and you don't get anything for getting to Legend rank 1 either. Or like, oh, you get in real life tournament points, but who really cares about that at this point? But yeah, I've never really bothered to even try to do that. And again, that's not like an excuse, it's just, it really, you would have to at least attempt to do it. Every time I get there, I just stop playing, or at least I stop playing that, because it's like, it's so repetitive after a while. You're using the same deck over and over against the same decks over and over, making the same plays over and over. Like, it's very, very contrived. So if we get Lord Thamar, that would be good. Now, the one game where we actually would have time to enjoy it a little bit, they won't actually give it to us. I do like this whole thing of having one copy of each one, though. Even if some of them are just completely garbage and there'd be no reason to have them in there, like a fucking, you know, like the, what do you call it? A lot of these buff cards, obviously. Especially the Treant one, although we did get value from it somehow, because one of these things did actually summon 5 Treants. Okay, this should start to become a little bit better here now. So yeah, in a way, a priest is almost a blessing to have here, because at least it'll let you play the game out a little bit, regardless of outcome. It seems like it would be hard for him to deal with this. But he's gonna summon like Neptulon and do some fucking endless resurrection chain bullshit type thing that we saw. There were some decks that we saw on the ladder during that Wild Legend run that were like so insane, but then we only saw them like once. How come we didn't see that more if it was that good? You might think that was the best case scenario, but like I could never have beaten that deck. Or even like Time Warp. I couldn't beat Time Warp. It was impossible. And yet somehow we didn't see it that much, thankfully. It was like factually, objectively impossible for either my deck to beat or just to beat, period. Because again, you could do it an infinite fucking number of times to the extent that obviously discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand. I guess this would be kind of cute to do. Or you may as well do it now, and then he'll clear the board, and then I can figure something else out. That is kind of a nasty card for this kind of deck when you're committing to the board so much. I don't know why I never really noticed it even existed or something. And it's pretty fucking old too. I was surprised. I guess I just don't play Druid that much. Right, Druid's maybe in the middle to bottom of my least played classes. Or I mean most played. So it's not quite enough to qualify for the underplayed class round robin. But other than that, there's no special meaning to the order in which I've done these. Just whatever I felt like. Or whichever avatars I want to show off. Because I wanted to show off that 3D Sylvanas one too. Show you what a clown I am for wasting money on these things. But I think generally I have a pretty good track record for never buying microtransactions in any game ever. No matter how much I play them. So I'm exactly the guy who like takes advantage of the fact that everybody else pays for it and I get to play it for free and enjoy it for hundreds of hours, like NBA 2K stuff. Or I mean, I guess that at least you still have to pay for the game itself, but this should be pretty fucking good. Or in fact, I just win. Or I don't know. You know what, let's play it out though. I'll BM him a little bit just because this will be the one win that we get. So see, when it works, it looks fun. And if I lose, then whatever. This basically counts no matter what. And I swear, I'm not doing it to BM the guy. I'm not a dick like that. I'm just doing it so I can actually enjoy the sort of build up and interactions that we've been working towards this whole time in every single game that we never get to see because it always gets pulled out from under us. So I'd love to see you actually deal with this. Restore 8. Yeah, like let's actually play the game out. But you're still going to be helpless before us. Oh shit. Fuck. But no, he really just can't deal with the board at all. He has nothing. Yeah, that's fine. This is fine. I'll keep you at exactly, or wait, whatever. Okay, I'm overcommitting to the board a little bit too much, but let's see if he has anything for it. I guess in this way you can kind of sympathize. Maybe people are just trying to have fun with the interaction that they've established less than actually trying to BM you. Okay. As usual, my decks are so great the only way to beat them is to copy them. Which could get a little bit dangerous with that, I guess. Okay, we'll go as long as this guy doesn't concede. Even though I was just getting salty that the one guy wouldn't kill me. But I mean, you're welcome to concede anytime you want. So you can't even say, oh, this is harassing or bullying you. Because it's like bullying the other player. Because you can consent to get bullied here or not. Like with any sort of chat site, people always try to say that. Don't make it so that you ban people as the site. Like people said this on Twitter. Should Twitter ban such and such person for saying something? No, because you can block them yourself. Or you can just choose not to read their stuff or not to associate with them. Or so you let the user moderate it, don't moderate it for them. In other words, give you the option of who you want to talk to, who you can block, all those kind of things. Whose posts you see and who's, you know, you don't even have to block them, but it could just hide their posts. There's so many ways to deal with it, so. I mean, the amount of healing that he's getting back from this is cute, but it's not really doing anything. I mean, hey, I'll go as long as you want, dude. I love it if you did make a comeback to this. Like, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh! Antagonist here with my crazy, overpowered bullshit, and you're gonna pull out something out of your ass to actually win. I mean, that's still gonna take you a century to fucking do. Why is this gamer so loud? Was he ever quiet? Yeah, I definitely have changed in both senses there. Both talking more and I'm maybe a little bit louder voice-wise too. But I am actually using my old mic lately. My old Blue Yeti, but I guess it's just not the same unless you have that whispery quality. Okay, this is fine too. We do this. Yeah, let's get him to exactly 1. Or fuck it, we'll do that too. Cute eye, yeah, this is a little Sauron eye wannabe. Also copying Lovecraft universe stuff. I love how blatantly they would copy stuff like that, but oh shit, that is the one answer actually to this. But still, it really doesn't matter. What an epic comeback by this guy it would be if he had any chance here. And his opening line is so badass too, but they just messed up the voice. They always do that, like with Malagos. His voice just doesn't match his sophisticated vibe like from the actual games. But like, you know, my dreaming ends, your nightmare begins. Like, that's so good. But he just says it like some gruff office worker or something. Or like he's trying too hard, I don't know. He used to sound exactly like me. It's the same problem actually that we're observing here. I used to be all quiet and whispery just like Cthulhu. Because he's in like a weakened state and he's like half dead, so he's whispering in like a creepy way. So even though it could be his weakness showing, he actually manages to make it work to his benefit by making him sound all menacing. This was that one game where the guy trolled me with this and got like 1,000,000 armor as a fucking priest. We didn't see any armors beat us, or any warriors beat us with armor decks, but a priest beat us on the ladder with that in the little legend run that we did. You got Lotheb and little bootleg Lotheb over there. There should be more effects like this though in the game. There really aren't. They just like hinder spell usage and stuff like that. Even if, you know, you could count the evasive stuff in that context, but I don't know. Maybe I should actually look it up. Maybe I just haven't noticed them, but there's nothing else in the game that really has this effect. It just makes stuff cost more. There's a lot of stuff that maybe gets buffed if you do use a spell, like the trogs and stuff, but
It's all in your head.
I almost have too many different setups now where like I have 3 different mics that I use depending where I am at the time, and so therefore I sound completely different in each one. They could just make like a different channel and pretend to be somebody else. Like that's where it'd be almost hard to ban somebody like me, because since I don't do phase cam, how would you even know it's me? I could just make another channel, but I guess what would be the point really, because you would want to kind of gather your following, you know, bring your following over with you. So then what would be the point if you were like a big streamer? They would have to secretly know it's you but pretend like they don't know. But yeah, it trivializes so many standards that people have, like how you would judge things. If you don't do face cam, they don't even know who you are. I could be just like an AI voice, or I could just be, I don't know. You would have no idea. And then you have the beautiful middle ground of the whole kawaii, cutesy little VTuber avatars and stuff, which I'm almost intrigued to maybe try that at some point, but I also don't even like the idea of having anything else up on screen. I don't like these deck trackers and stupid things either, even though that's more so because that's like actually legitimately cheating. I like this guy's sportsmanship to actually play the game out. But yeah, this is the one win that we get, so we better enjoy it. I don't even care if I lose either. I just want to see, like, what can he ever deal with anything? We didn't beat this guy once. We beat him like 50 times. We beat him morally every turn that he's failed to clear my board. Like, I could even set that rule. If you clear the board, I'll concede. But that's not even fair either, because you'll just use that stupid silence thing. Silence and destroy everything. Yeah, this is part of the reason why I even wanted to play as Druid, just to go off the Cthulhu eye that I was stupid enough to spend money on. Or, I mean, really, you're supposed to do it for the buff capability too, but he's gonna heal an incredible 6 health from that. They only need to see one of your chess games to identify you, really, because I have such a distinct style of play. What did you think about the GOAT challenge? Where Ding Liren went like 0-3 or whatever, like he didn't win a single game. So everybody's making fun of him for whatever, being like a paper champion. Not that that would really prove it or not, but I mean he's clearly not lived up to the high standards the other one set. I almost wish Anand would have snuck in there to the candidates so he could actually beat Ding and win another championship now in the most unexpected twist ever, because he is still like world top 10, but he didn't qualify for that. Carlson, Ding, you all have very unique playstyle. I think my whole playstyle is like the lazy gambit where I try to just trade everything so I don't even have to think about it or do anything. Which again, it served me well for a while, but at some point it just doesn't work. That's actually my biggest way to identify a good player now, is like if they deny trades, they're good because they know what they're doing with the piece and they're not afraid. Whereas everybody else will just take them because they just want to get it over with. I like the format, more funny moment than standard chess. Yeah, I am definitely a big fan of variants, but they gotta have a Chaturanga one or something now. Or how about Shogi, a game that's actually more complicated than chess? Yeah, Anand could have snuck into the candidates, and then he would actually have a legitimate chance of winning here, because it's like a free-for-all now that Magnus isn't there, obviously. Or the whole irony of Hikaru, people always say like, oh, if he hadn't become a streamer, maybe he would have beaten Ding. He wouldn't have been distracted, and he would have studied even harder, and he would have beaten Ding the last time to challenge Nepo, and then he might have actually had a chance to win there. So the one time in Hikaru's whole chess life where he could have legitimately possibly won a world championship, he didn't do it because he didn't maybe put the full effort he could have if he hadn't been streaming, right? So you might say, oh well, he's still so good, and so that doesn't diminish him, but it's like, oh look, he's almost back to full health though, I better end this quickly, maybe now I won't have the chance. But it's like the standard's very high. You think Ding Liren's streaming chess, or you think Nepo's streaming or playing Dota or something, like they always ask him that stupid question, do you still play Dota? For some reason, because he's a fan of it. But the point is that, you know, yeah, if his chess career failed, he could have done that. Oh shit, we're actually having a little trouble now. We're just gonna be like out of minions altogether. Yeah, the one chance he could have potentially done it, he missed because of that. That's such a sad... That is like the moment that symbolized the death of meritocracy. Like, you had your whole life, your whole life as Hikaru, you dreamt of being the world chess champion, and you worked so hard for this moment. But when it finally came down to the one time that you could have won, like let's assume he would have never beaten Magnus. He just can't do it. Magnus is too good. We get it. But you could have beaten Ding. You could have beaten Nepo, and you could still do it even this time, right? He qualified for this one as well, so he could still do it. But no, it's more important you still to stream, and you got to do all that. Like, it maybe seems a little bit overly simplified to say that, like, oh, if he didn't stream, that doesn't mean he's automatically gonna win. But it still just kind of feels a little bit uncomfortable, because he even says that, like, oh, I'm a streamer first and foremost. This is your one chance that you could potentially do it, and you don't take advantage of it, like, fully. It's like a good hypothetical, like when Michael Jordan retired, who's hypothetically the best player if he wasn't there? And it was Hakeem Olajuwon, who won obviously in 94-95. You can say the same thing with respect to... I mean, I guess I trolled him so long because I trolled him so long that I actually ran out of minions to play. Or I could have done like Spreading Plague. Like in this hypothetical scenario, who would be the best chess player if Magnus wasn't there? And you would think, oh, it might have been Nepo, but it actually was Ding, apparently, in a world choking championship. That was hilarious. The number of jokes we came up with. My friend was fucking obsessed with it. He had made like 1 million comments to do with Ding choking. Okay, I'll switch over to Magic now. Or what? Let's see what is in here. I hate these reward track things that they do. They're so stupid. That was something I saw when I first came back to Hearthstone, however many years ago. I was like, what the hell is this stupid thing? They copied Magic in that sense, because Magic has the reward tracks, but I don't know which one really did it first, because I hadn't played Magic up to that point really either.